Time travelers save Hitler.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jimmy, and this is Professor Pixel and Us Chris. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
I'm good.
Another good week. Another topic to discuss.
Yes.
We got a few more days until the new series starts, so we need time to kill.
We have Tom Baker amount of days. I'm not even joking. That's not a joke. That's just real. All right. So the topic of today's discussion is top 3 most underrated Doctor Who episodes. As always, my list is the best, and we'll see about everyone else's. Let's start with our little Aussie friend down there.
Okay,
Hi, guy.
sure.
You a little down there. How you
Yeah,
doing?
down. Literally down under. Haha.
You had to do that. You had to.
I had to do it. I saw
You're
the
the one who-
opportunity.
you
I'm like,
set him up
fuck it,
for
let's
it.
go.
My
Let's do
opportunity.
this. In no order at all, my first choice or underrated episode is from Series 2, David Tennant's first series, and that is The Idiot's Lantern. I think it is a underrated episode, considering there's some pretty good episodes in that series. But I know
It's a Mark
really enjoy-
Gatiss script, man. Like, I can't stand his writing.
Well, sometimes he's got it, sometimes he doesn't. A
He's
lot
got
of the
good
times
ideas.
he's got good ideas, yes. I think this was a good one. I really liked.
No, don't get me wrong. I know a
Idiot's
lot of
Lantern.
people who like this one. It's just me personally. I just can't stand Mark Gatiss' writing. It didn't age well throughout the series as well.
You're not going to be a huge fan of my list.
Yours is nothing but Mark
So, like I
Gatiss.
said at the start of the video, my list is the best. I don't think
Well,
I
you know, Idiot's Lantern isn't one I think about a lot, admittedly. I do. It's the one with that scene where he tells, you wouldn't tell the Queen to clean up the house, would you?
Yeah. You'd tell
Yeah.
the Queen to clean up the house, would you? Where they're just like belittling the family man guy, the dad.
That's
Fix those flags. They're pointed in the
No.
wrong direction.
Yep. And then there are those that are losing their faces. So
Yes.
I actually enjoyed this episode, and I think you made a good choice. It isn't thought about a lot. So I think this does fit. Mine, I'm starting actually with an episode that I put off for the longest time. You know, I think putting it off helped because I saw a lot of the criticism of it. And it is the only Jodie episode on here because the others are rated poorly for a reason.
Oh.
But this one is Revolution of the Daleks. And the reason why is not because while this episode does have its flaws, compared to especially the last special, how they brought back the Daleks, they had their new age. Oh, look, we're making them police officers now. But that storyline, and it sounds like something that a human would do. They would look, that would be great for law enforcement. Revolution of the Daleks is a fantastic Dalek episode. But while there are the flaws in it from the previous season, I don't know who I am. You're the Doctor, so I'm the same? No, you're not. You're different, but you're the Doctor. While that is weighing it down, there are some great moments in this. I couldn't help smiling when they used the second TARDIS to get all the Daleks to fly in, and then they just crushed it in on itself. It was great. The Daleks themselves shine in this episode just for how awesome they are.
I will say that is the only good thing about this episode is how fucking rad the Daleks are.
Yeah.
Chibnall did good with the Daleks. Good job.
Well, it's been a while since I watched that episode. Do they ever remember what Daleks are? Did no one question like why are now our new police fucking robots like these things that like attacked the planet a few times?
Stole the planet itself.
Stole the planets.
So
and you can't use the cracks in time as an excuse because that was all fixed. So that all should have happened.
I mean, it was partially fixed, but at the same time, it's Doctor Who, so it's really not fixed.
Canon does not work.
I can shrug that off at least, especially because my next episode is going to address some of the things.
This one was a close. Like, I couldn't decide between this one or Capaldi's Eaters of Light. But I inevitably chose this one because a lot of people don't really remember it, but when they do, they go, "Oh, that shit was good." Which is season 5. I think it's probably top 2 best season of Doctor Who in the history of mankind. Also, this one is The Lodger.
I love you. Well, that's good, because I'm your new lodger.
With James Corden. And this one is a TARDIS-less, Amy Pond-less, not really even a sonic screwdriver-less episode. And it's just the Doctor figuring out how to stop something without using anything to his benefit. And he really gets a 1-episode companion, which, I mean, he later comes back for another single episode.
Yeah. And that is as much James Corden as I can stand. So
yes,
no. What they should have done.
Well, this was pre America James Corden, so he was somewhat tolerable.
Hey, so they should have brought him back for Matt Smith's 3rd season to like keep it at 1 season per. 1 episode per season with
just
him.
A random recurring gag.
just a random, yeah. That would have been a fantastic.
Here's Craig for no reason.
But this one has some of the greatest moments I think the Doctor has with just everyday humans, and one of them being like, "Oh, look, you're not important. What can you do?" And they're on the couch. This is the part where he interrupted the date. And she's like, "What? I can do anything I want." And then he looks at her and she goes, "Oh, I see what you did there." Like that, tricking herself into believing she can do anything she wants and not just be another Joe. And but also some funny moments too, like where he was like, "Oh yes, if I have a girl come over, I will say,
I was not expecting this."
It's so funny. So much stuff with this episode. That's great. This is the first time we see Matt Smith hating alcohol. If we remember that, he takes a sip and he just spits it right back. Yeah. So much great stuff with this episode.
And then also, it kind of well, doesn't outright say it, but like kind of also building up the silence with the ship, because there's actually like rewatching, like some time ago I was rewatching like series 5 onwards. You notice that the Doctor sees the corpse of what seems to be the pilot of that ship. After that, they make no mention of it, as if he forgot it was there.
That's good. That's a good thing to notice. Wow.
Yeah. So the corpse of
also,
the silence.
it's the same ship from Impossible Planet. No, Impossible Astronaut.
Yeah. No. Well, yeah, same or similar. They don't outright say it, but I'd assume it's the same considering.
Yeah, no, I think you did I think that's a fair pick. I don't hear a lot about it, especially right now because James Corden is James Corden.
James Corden.
He is definitely bearable in the 2 episodes that he has, but this one specifically, I think he actually shines. It makes you think that he's likable.
Wow, James Corden likable? What universe are we in?
That's the guy from Cats. What do you mean?
From Cats. Hit star of Cats and Cinderella. Yeah, so for my second one, I picked from part 2 of series 6, and that would be The Girl Who Waited. And for anyone who remembers, it's the episode where Amy gets trapped in a faster timeline in a hospital, and when they try to rescue her, they find an Amy that's been there for too long.
It wasn't a hospital. It was a vacation planet.
Well, it was a vacation planet, but where they are was in a kind of hospital because there was a virus outbreak that will.
It was just quarantined.
That will affect people with two hearts. So the Doctor and the Appalachians. I'm glad I remembered that. But yes, they meet an Amy that's been there for too long. She's grown resentful. She hates that they never went to rescue her, even though that's what they're literally there for. They just arrived a bit too late. And it was a really good episode of strengthening the bond between Rory and Amy, and also examining like a companion losing almost complete faith in the Doctor. Just outright kind of like, oh, I hate him. I don't know why, I bothered like looking up to this person that I idolized, that I was in love with. Like, he didn't come to rescue me, so he's not important to me anymore. But then also kind of like slowly bringing that back when you have the two Amys, the two versions of Amys from different timelines interact with one another. And then also the Doctor trying to like ease problems because he knows he can't take older Amy with them because paradoxes, but he has to lie to her in order to save their Amy. So the difficult choices that people have to make, even with Rory wants to save both Amys, but he can't. He has to make the choice. Does he save his Amy or the older Amy? Because to him, they're both the same. They're the same woman.
They're both Amy.
And he loves them both the same. So I think that's the only episode on my list that was rated higher than a 7. I think it was like an 8.5 on IMDb. But I think it's an underrated episode. I didn't think in that series, mainly because it was essentially the River Song Revelation series, all about River Song, the death of the Doctor. Which is fine. Yeah, the great plot line. So it kind of got hidden, pulled under the rug because we had the much bigger story going on in the two parts. So I really like watching that episode. I think it's underrated.
I think it's a great episode for what it was. You were right. It is a total episode of like, how can a companion lose total faith in the Doctor, while also a total episode of showing how much Rory loves Amy. Yeah, because he didn't want to leave the old one. He also didn't want to leave the younger one, but he just loved them both because they were both essentially Amy.
They are Amy. That's all he cares about.
Yes, it was great. It was a great episode in a kind of a lackluster season. There were still some good episodes, and I mean, right after this or right before it was The Doctor's Wife. So there were still like you had like either one or two really good episodes.
This was part 2 of that series. Because remember they did the split.
Oh, that's right. It was split because of Let's Kill Hitler.
Because right before this was Night Terrors, which was the second episode of part 2. Yeah, I think the next episode was Craig's reappearance.
Closing time. Really?
Yeah,
was it that late?
I think so. If I remember correctly,
I thought this was earlier. Oh well, but still, again. Craig's reappearance. It's cooped together with another good episode. I think this is pretty good for what it was.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think I might have picked it if I had thought about it. But given how high it's rated, I probably wouldn't have. Everything on my list is below 7. So. Well, no, not below 7. It's either 7 or below.
Also, correction, God Complex was actually after this. Closing time is after that.
It's really not talked about a lot these days. And, that goes around for some episodes, but there's some that will live forever, like Don't Blink. Or, no, it's just called Blink.
No, that's a good point, Pixel, because this is a perfect example of a very good, underrated episode. Because it's very good, yet it's very forgettable.
So my second choice, because it's my turn now, is actually another Dalek episode. It's also written by Mark Atness, which Jimmy
I
hates.
hate you so much.
Jimmy is fuming right now.
Is
It
it
is.
the one
If his
I'm thinking
camera
of?
was on, it would just be a red, angry face.
It is Victory of the Daleks.
I'm keeping my camera off.
Okay. Well, Victory of the Daleks takes place in World War II. It's odd how both of mine.
Wait. You know what's funny? I didn't even know this was written by Mark Gatiss. Now makes sense.
Shut up. So, in this episode, both of my episodes have to do with Daleks coming into the British
Oh
government.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, because this is like Oh no, these are these are my what does he call them?
Ironsides.
My Ironsides. Yes.
You are my Ironsides!
Oh
That's
wait, I was thinking
pretty sure it's
Aliens,
the Ironside, yeah.
Victory of the Daleks. I was thinking Daleks take Manhattan. My bad.
No.
Victory of the Daleks. Okay, I will say this. Probably the only good Mark Gatiss episode. I like this episode a lot.
Sure.
And yeah, they looked bad. Like the new ones, the
I
Pandemonium.
disagree. So
No,
here's
hold
what
on,
I'm going to
hold on,
say.
hold on, hold on.
The thing
I'm
is,
still talking.
This is my episode.
I know, but I'm saying yes, they look bad, but I like them. I enjoyed them a lot. And you know what? I posted this on Twitter. I want to say like 2 weeks ago. I thought they were cool.
I agree. I think they're very cool to look at. And it's just an excuse to make toys. But I want the little
Yeah, I bought
Dalek
one.
that works for Winston Churchill. I want that little figure. But it's just so many cool designs, especially with the colors and how they actually meant something for each Dalek. That was so cool.
they're now given roles.
Yeah,
I mean, they've always
in
had roles, but
2000
now proper color-coded roles now.
And
in 2010, my dad went into Hastings by himself because he yelled at me for something. I don't remember what it was. He left me in the truck. He comes back with a yellow Pandemonium Dalek. And I was like, I forgive you, but I don't know what we're talking about. This is a long time. I don't remember what we're talking about, but I forgive him. But I think I still have the Dalek somewhere. I'm just missing the blaster.
The designs that go into it are very cool, but I also think that it's a good, even excuse for bringing back the Daleks. So you had the Daleks that traveled through time to rescue themselves, and they were so far from the Dalek gene due to that the ship didn't recognize them as Daleks. So they had to devise the plot, brings the doctor identifies them as Daleks, so that way they can start a new era of Dalek. And then the new era destroys the old one, and the old ones are just like, yes, because we're impure. It's great. Then the Jammy is that what it's called? Jammy Dodger?
Jammy Dodger.
Yeah, Jammy Dodger, yeah.
My TARDIS self-destruct.
I love that.
That's iconic.
That was great. No, but the best part of that was like where he was just trying to convince everyone that these are Daleks. These are the most evil creatures in the world.
I love that scene.
And he just starts
it just
hitting
reaffirms his
them
hatred
with
of
a
them.
wrench to the point where he's screaming. And this is the first time Amy sees him like this. And he goes, "You are my enemy, and I am yours." And I was like, it just shows you how much he fucking hates these creatures because they took everything from him. Oh man, such a good part.
For my list, I almost put Into the Dalek, which has the good Dalek, which they go into to see. But Rusty, that's right. But that was rated too high for me to consider it underrated, so I left it out. But that is my number 2 pick. I really love this episode, and I don't think it gets enough appreciation, especially for taking something. Whereas we had RTD who brought back the Daleks, this is to almost refresh them, give them a new paint, a new coat of paint, and send them on their way.
I would say the only real weak thing about that episode is just the random, like, to the side, like, thing about the woman whose husband is a pilot. And he's just like, oh, she found out he died. He got shot down. I'm like, because they mentioned it at the start where she's a bit worried that, oh no, that's Reg's squadron, and then at the end, she's in tears, and Winston tells Amy, oh, her husband was shot down. I'm just like, it's kind of a pointless little like side story that amounted to really nothing.
Her forgetting about him, so like tie it into the crack storyline that's going on.
Yeah.
Because at the end, the doctor says, Amy, you remember the Daleks, right? No, she doesn't. But I think that would have been more interesting. But, they wanted to add a human element to it that was something going on in the war.
Mine is a 2-parter. Get it? Number 2 for 2. I'll leave it there. Okay. So, mine's a 2-parter that there are definite complaints with that I can understand. But if you get past kind of the main complaint, it's a really good episode. It's a really good 2-parter. And that is season 1's Aliens of London / World War III. With the Slovene.
The flatulence monsters.
The most flatulent. So, and that's the thing. If you take out the farting, it's a really good episode. It's mainly about like if aliens came to London and they were smart about it. Not just we will crash land or come in guns blazing. They're like, no. The best way to take over the human race is to let them do it themselves. But we have to be in control of it. And they did that by portraying the prime minister, the main military general, and other small people here, the constable. And it's really good. It's also the first time I think the Doctor falls in love with Rose. Because the ending, when they're trapped in that room with the Doctor, Rose, and oh God, what's her name?
Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones, Prime Minister.
Harriet Jones, MP, Flydale North.
Yeah, I don't remember that part. I just remember as soon as she becomes Prime Minister and she throws that around. Harriet Jones, Prime Minister.
So the best part, yeah, when they're stuck there, and he has the choice to have a missile fly at them and kill everything in Downing Street. And he's on the phone with Rose's mom. And she says, you better not do anything that will like hurt my daughter or whatever. And he goes, I can save the human race, but I'll kill Rose. And then her mom's just like, don't do it. And then Rose comes in and just goes, do it. And he just looks at her confused because he's like, I just said I could kill you but save the entire human race, and you didn't even bat an eye. And you didn't hesitate. And she said, yeah. And that look they share between each other, that's the moment I knew, like, oh, he is smitten. He loves Rose. And I'm all there for it.
I'm not there for it. I've made this perfectly clear.
It's fantastic.
I'm not a big fan of romance and Doctor Who, but this episode, I actually I have to agree because I remember trying to watch it the first time, and I just did not like it at all. But going through it a second time with some more understanding of, okay, this is Doctor Who, you can have a little more fun with it. And you know what?
Got a little too much though. Like for a bit, it was okay, but then it just kept coming, and you're like, oh, stop.
And they were laughing. They're all obese and stuff.
Really got to fix the gas exchange. It's getting quite the amount.
Yes. But overall, I have to say that there's some really good stuff in this episode.
Well, not really number one, but my last choice for underrated. It's underrated to me. It could be shocking to you guys and to any other person because I don't know. I don't think a lot of people liked this episode. It was very gimmicky, but I somewhat enjoyed it. That is Series 9's Sleep No More.
That's my choice.
Is it? Yes.
Which one was
The found footage episode. So for those who don't remember, Sleep No More is entirely shown through found footage. The Doctor and Clara go to a space station where there's these Sandmen created by Ruin, which is something to do with like it's like the crust or something from your eyes, and I kind of dig that episode. It is gimmicky because it's found footage, and a lot of found footage stuff nowadays is not particularly creative. It just follows the same formula, but I really liked the episode. I liked how tense it got. I actually did get like chills like the end of the episode when it's revealed that that doctor guy, the scientist guy, Russellman, is actually not real. He's like technically one of the Sandmen, and he's been recording everything so he can send a signal to make more people watch it and create more Sandmen. I just kind of found that chilling where he just like rubs his eye out and it's just nothing there. And I was like, that's creepy. And he's just I want more people to watch this.
I was just finishing that right before we were going to start this video. So,
yeah.
So no, absolutely.
it had the lowest. I think it had the lowest rating on my list, and I think even was one of the lowest of that season.
It is an episode that is really quite. People really love it or they really hate it, and there was quite a kind of leaning towards the hate. But I loved this episode. It was so odd to see it outside of its element, and the twists of how we don't have helmet cameras. They're watching through the dust. All the footage that we see is through the sleep dust in everybody's eyes, and the characters that you get connected with, and just on top of that, it is a Mark Gatiss episode. So that's the reason why Jimmy doesn't.
I'm not gonna like it. I that's the only one from season 9 I don't remember. I'm looking through HBO Max right now with Doctor Who on it, and I'm going through it, and I don't remember it.
I remembered it.
Oh wait, that was the one right before Face the Raven. What? What? Yeah, of course. Why would I remember this? This is like the most boring episode.
But see, it stood out for the reason. A lot of people said this series was working towards a complete plot line throughout the entire season. Then you have this random episode. This random episode was awesome. And I saw somebody else make a note of it that I'm going to go ahead and take. It reminds me of Classic Who, how sometimes you can't defeat the monster. All you have to do is run. That's all you can do. And whenever they're heading towards the TARDIS and he's saying, wait, it doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. It's all a show. And it is all a show to keep people engaged, watching, so that they can join the Sandman.
Yep.
And I think it's truly one of those episodes that really sit with me.
For a while, I wanted Mark Gatiss to be the next showrunner because he was on it with Stephen Moffat and RTD throughout the whole series. I was like, well, he's been there, might as well be the showrunner. And then I started rewatching his episodes. And then I said, I want him to never write for Doctor Who again.
We're wrong, sir. But okay.
More than Chibnall. I want him to be out more than Chibnall.
That's just disgusting on all sorts of levels. But
No,
he's hit or miss.
Yeah,
Chris Chibnall
can
at
be
least.
A lot of miss, but he does have some gems sometimes.
Okay, Mark Gatiss has one good script, I believe. One good script. And then Chris Chibnall has 42, The Power of Three, and that Silurian two-parter I can't remember the name of, The Hungry Earth and something else.
Yeah, Hungry Earth and Cold Blood.
Cold Blood. That's actually good. I rewatched that recently. It's actually really good.
I was actually tempted to put 42 as underrated, and I'm like, nah, I don't think that's really an underrated episode. I mean, I like 42. I just don't think I would call it an underrated episode.
No, I looked at it
list because it wasn't. Oh, did I interrupt you? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
The Power 3 was on my list, a Chris Chibnall episode, because that episode wasn't about the damn cubes, people who think that that episode sucks. It's about the Doctor not wanting to give up his friends. That's all it's about.
Yeah, but the plot has to be interesting.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I get the message, but it wasn't an interesting episode.
That's where I disagree.
So, what I'm going to say to finish up before we get to your top pick for most underrated episode, Jimmy, is that Mark Gatiss, while he can be hit or miss, at least I feel Doctor Who in every episode that I've mentioned of his, and in fact, episodes that you mentioned, you feel Doctor Who in that. Chris Chibnall, I do not feel the Doctor in that at all. It feels dead, soulless. I listed one episode because he finally could do a classic monster right, and that was it.
So, I think the best underrated episode of all time is God Complex.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. Possibly the best episode of that season for me personally. It's really a great one because it's a comparison of the Doctor to that Minotaur. At the end, that speech of, an old, immortal soul too afraid to die. And like, when do you give up? It's not the fact that I die. It's the fact of when should I finally call it. And I can't stop because it's not really a choice. It's an impulse. And that's the Doctor. That's 100% the Doctor. But sometimes we can go too far. And that episode is perfect because it also shows like if you go too far, you end up killing yourself or someone else. And that happened. That was a foreshadow to the Angels Take Manhattan, to the point where he went too far because he knew he was supposed to give up Amy and Rory, as he does at the end of this episode. But he doesn't, and he goes too far, and they pay the price for it. And this one also covers many things like fear and what we praise. And I think this is a fan-freaking-tastic episode.
It was also the first departure of Amy and Rory.
They should have stayed. I think they should have stayed gone.
Well, no,
they needed a reason for the Doctor to be alone to lead up to the whole he's going to die.
Well, to be fair though, if they did stay gone, we wouldn't have got a good episode like Asylum of the Daleks. Like I really like that episode.
I love that episode too. I almost put it, like I said, I really think a lot of these Dalek episodes get forgotten because they are the Doctor's main villain. So people just shrug it off. Okay, that's Dalek. But with how these episodes are written, Asylum of the Dalek is truly one of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who, period. And it introduces Clara, which I know there's some debate on whether or not people like that. But
no, she's underrated.
She's shined in that episode. But
I will say with Asylum of the Daleks, I agree. I think it's a really good episode. I just find it weird that like the Daleks would make an asylum for their insane, for their injured, when like the whole thing with Daleks is that if they're not Daleks like them, they're not the same.
So
they brought that up in that episode.
That goes to, in fact, mostly like genetics, like they were saying. And with that, with their asylum, those are pure Daleks. They are just from the war, mentally damaged. At the same time, weren't they behind destroying the planet?
They were. But also,
that's the weird thing. They just didn't want to go down to investigate the signal.
Yeah, but
like,
but also they brought it up early. Like they originally created it because even though they are messed up Daleks, they're still Daleks, and that hatred and that amount of hatred each of those Daleks that went crazy was, they said, too beautiful to destroy. But now they're afraid some of them can get out, and that's why they wanted to destroy it. So what we're doing now is scenes from a hat, but Doctor Who style. And what that means is we're just going to do misheard Doctor Who episode titles and make them Doctor Who or make them anything we want. So that's the premise, and let's go. All right, I got one, and it is 2016's Christmas special, The Return of Rey Mysterio. So this one is another season 9 episode, and it's Face That So Raven.
Never forget the hit series 3 episode Friday the 13th Part 8 Daleks Take Manhattan.
Don't forget another series 9 two-parter, the Zygon Invasion and the Zygon Invasion.
Don't forget the Hangry Earth.
The Girl Who Died and the Woman Who La Vida Loca.
Well, we can never forget the greatest series finale, Series 5's The Big Bang Theory.
Oh no!
Don't forget Series 10, Episode 4, Knock Knock, Who's There? That's it.
Another episode, a lot of people lay it down, but I think Loving Monsters is great. Jodie Whittaker's start. The Woman Who Fell and Hurt. You know that Series 12 two-parter? And, it was really weird seeing Daniel Craig there, but Skyfall!
Don't forget the two-parter, Midnight and Noon.
There's one that we aren't talking about, one that's coming up, and it is definitely it's highly anticipated. Doctor Who Flux.
Did you hear the second episode of the series coming out?
No.
Yeah, because the first episode's the Halloween apocalypse, and the second one is the Centaurans bend the Flux over.
Oh no! We can't remember. We can't forget the one that started it all. Hoes.
What?
I mean, we've been talking a lot about New Who, but my favorite classic Who is Delta and the Venga Boys.
There's always the classic idiot Green Lantern. Season 1, Episode 2, It's the End of the World as We Know It. The season finale of Season 1, The Parting of the Legs.
Oh! Going back into classic Who, I think the Celestial Boymaker is quite interesting.
With the second Doctor, the two-parter with the second Doctor, The Mind Robber and Bill Cosby's Lawyer. Alright, so this one is another good one. It's things you can say to the Doctor, but not in bed. And let's go.
Is it bigger on the inside?
What do you mean it doesn't work on wood?
Why is your screwdriver green?
Is it just me, or is your screwdriver getting bigger?
Don't blink. Blink and you're dead.
Wow, that's just more threatening.
Alright, so this is another one, and it's episodes explained badly.
Fart monsters take government.
Old man kidnaps school teachers with his granddaughter.
Old man with umbrella and civil war.
A woman has a kid, abandons kid, and the kid's just looking for his mommy.
This episode, the Doctor takes on mummies who crush people with their chests.
They stare a lot.
Simon Pegg works for Ceiling Blob.
They stare a lot in Manhattan.
A cut-off piece of foreskin wants to get her stock profile up.
Rhinos go to the hospital on the moon. The fat walks away.
I bet I can do a better one for that. Let me think.
Go for it.
I got a premise. You're fat, but if you want to change, you die.
James Corden gets a girlfriend.
Bigger on the inside, but smaller.
Wi-Fi kills.
Wi-Fi? Because fi.
Eyes get a little too crusty.
Oh no. Let your dad die.
Titanic in space.
No, the better version of that is the doctor fails at getting a rebound.
Kylie Minogue commits murder-suicide with cripple.
The doctor becomes a racist.
The doctor commits racism.
Using children makes people feel young.
Time travelers save Hitler. The doctor commits war crimes.
Which episode's that?
Yeah, pick one. Pick one.
Black child has daddy issues. That's another horrible Mark Gatiss script.
Shut up.
The master eats out the homeless.
Boy finds love with concrete slab.
Boy gets good head.
No. Internet dork gets living fleshlight.
No! Clara goes too deep.
Is it the name of the doctor?
No.
Yeah, I think so. No? Oh.
Journey to the center of the TARDIS.
Oh, yeah.
A brother's awesome prank.
That's quite enough of that.
Thank you very much, guys. We had so much fun. Please click the like button, share it out, do all that stuff. We're going to be talking about Who every week.
Make sure to join us next week when we discuss the start of Doctor Who Flux. Yes, Flux. Very
Dr.
careful.
Who Flux, get ready for that Who news.
Who knows? And we will see you real soon. Stay fantastic.